Hi, I'm Spoon Phillips at Maury's Music in Coaldale, Pennsylvania. And I have in my hands a Martin OM-28 Authentic 1931. This recent addition to Martin's Authentic series of painstaking vintage replicas of famous Martin guitars from the 1930s, 40s is a wonderful reproduction of a classic OM-28. The orchestra model was the very first 14-fret steel string guitar made by Martin, basically inventing the modern acoustic guitar. It's one of the most copied designs in history. Martin has a variety of rosewood OMs over the years. None of them are remotely as close to the old-timers made between 1930 and 1933 as this particular model. It has an auditorium body size made with hide glue construction throughout, just like the old timers. It has lovely Madagascar rosewood for the back and sides, and this particular one has perfect straight grain sides. You'd have to be a more expert wood connoisseur than I to say whether or not this is actually quarter sawn Madagascar rosewood, but it certainly looks like it. The back is very straight grain, really lovely. It looks like an old-fashioned Martin OM-28. It has this fabulous Adirondack spruce top, super alive, resonant, and open already thanks to Martin's vintage tone system. That's their proprietary version of wood torrefaction. That is a very old technique that has been modernized through science, and basically they take this wonderful Adirondack spruce and they treat it to very high heat under high pressure in a low oxygen environment, and it changes the molecular structure of the wood, the cellular interior, until it takes on the physical properties of very old spruce. But only in Martin's Authentic series do they have the special version of the VTS that can zero in to reproduce the physical effects of Adirondack spruce from the early 20th century, right in the decades where Martin was making those amazing guitars during the golden era of Martin guitar making. Not only that, the scalloped OM bracing and the bridge plate that has been carved and shaped to resemble the bridge plate of the 1931 OM-28 they used to model this guitar has also been treated to the VTS system. So you have this wonderfully reflective top and bracing right out of the box. I think you'll immediately notice just how much deeper and more open the bottom end is on this guitar. And I mean right out of the box, I tuned it up right out of the box. And for a brand new guitar, it's really quite stunning. This neck is an extremely comfortable, accurate reproduction of a early 1930s Martin neck. This is from 1931, so it's in the year before the vintage neck started getting much thicker and fatter. So it's a V-neck, but it's very low and very comfortable. I've played one of these guitars side by side with the 1931 OM-28 that it was made from. It's an extremely impressive reproduction. There are some people who listened to them in blind taste tests and actually preferred the new one over the old timer. And I think you'll get an understanding about that when I really lay into this thing right now. 1931.
1931. That was a good year.
Yeah, it certainly was. It's based on the, very closely based on the OM-28 made in 1931 that ended up in the hands of Mike Seeger, the folk singer. And I got to play it on several occasions. They did a really good job approximating the neck. It's got that wonderful early 30s neck. I don't know who was carving the OM necks in 1930, 1931, but they certainly understood comfort and playability, and this is it's a wonderful vintage V-neck. And I'm just so impressed with the VTS top and the vintage tone system top, and just how alive the top is right out of the box, how much depth it has. But more importantly, well, maybe not as important, but one thing I really, really like about this particular model is not only does it sound and have the dynamics of a pre-war OM-28 more than just about any modern OM I can think of, it feels like it. When I play it, the tension in the strings, the play in the strings, the way it responds to vibrato, the way that it has this enormous projection, and the louder you get, it basically keeps that same voice and string to string balance as it gets louder, which is something most modern OMs don't do. They tend to get very throaty and overdriven in a good way, powerful way, but it's not the way of a vintage OM-28, kind of like this one is. Let's just listen to this.